Yeah, hit
I
start.
did.
Hey,
There we go.
woo,
My
Are you
bad, y'all. Look at
broadcasting?
all this.
Gabe saves the
Good.
day.
Please stop giving
Oh
ammunition.
gosh. Okay, Gabe, you say. So, but like, okay. So since we are live now, sorry about that. So the question was posed. Okay, it's a new uprising of Black Republicans. You know, the millennial youth is, I guess, trying to change the script. You know, flip it or whatever, and a lot of them are turning into, you know, being Black Republicans. And so the question I have is, how do y'all feel about that? You know, is that a good thing for the Black community? Is it something that's detrimental? Is it something that's going to just, you know, more separation and division between us? Like, what do y'all think?
I wonder if it's more of some of just getting them inside to, you know, turn shit around. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's like, all right, do what you gotta do to get inside, and once you get inside, how you.
So you're saying is they see the Republican Party as a powerful party, and so they're just trying to get in there to make a change.
I wonder if that's what's on their agenda. I wonder if it's like that, because you know sometimes you have to play your part just to get your foot in the door. Then once you get in, then you start changing things around and bringing more people in to where they think, you know, we're taking over, so to speak.
Wow. Okay. What about y'all? That's one way to look at it, but I don't know if that's.
So me and Frank, we actually did a show on this, and so there's a couple of things going on. First and foremost, Black people, as a whole, are conservative. I know that we live in a new age where there's more liberalism, but as a whole, as a collective, Black people as a whole are conservative. Most of us are Christians. Most of us are pro-life. So we, as far as our morals and things, we are conservative. The only reason we really do not vote Republican is because we're told that Republicans are the racist party and they're the party of the KKK and all the rednecks and everything vote Republican. So that's one of the main reasons we do not vote Republican. Second off, what you're also seeing.
I thought about not vote Republican.
Wait. Go ahead.
The second thing you're also seeing is you're seeing Black men mostly are the ones that are going to vote. They're turning to vote Republican. And the reason a lot of young black men are voting Republican is because they are trying to take back the family dynamic that we lost for the past 40 to 50 years. So you have Black women that most Black women are still identifying with the Democratic Party because, of course, they push, the matriarchy and the woman being the head of the household. And, of course, they get all the WIC benefits and food vouchers that they need. But for the most part, Black men are turning to the Republican Party because they are trying to take back the home. Last but not least, and I'm gonna let everybody talk because I see the facial expressions, and I know y'all hating on me today, but I'm ready. I told you I was coming to cook today, and the grease is hot. What you're seeing, what you're also seeing is you're finally seeing Black people saying, "Look, the Democrats are not doing enough to help our community move in a positive direction." If you look in any major city, whether it be Baltimore, Memphis, Houston, Dallas, you have all these mostly Democratic ran cities where the population is mostly Black. Cleveland, Cincinnati, you have all these dilapidated buildings.
Don't put Houston in that. Take Houston out of that.
Well, anyways, what I'm saying is these Democratic ran cities have not done anything for Black people. Black people live in squalor. They're poor. The Democrats have not done anything as a whole. That's not a lie. They have not done anything.
Live in squalor.
So have you? You're in Houston. What's that ward now? Yes. The 5th ward down there. Come on now, let's be real. Everybody
has a hood. They got white.
Everybody has a hood.
That's great. But what I'm saying
don't get on Fifth Ward too much. What I'm
saying is, guys, is that the Democrats haven't done a damn thing for Black folks in the last 50 years. Black folks are tired, and we're looking for alternatives. That's just facts.
Say that.
That's facts. Period.
So what? So Gabe, I'm sorry, your facts, but tell me what have the Republicans done?
No, I'm not. We're not talking about the Republicans. What have the
actually, we are,
Democrats
because
done?
the conversation is about more.
y'all
tell
me?
Republican, Donnie.
I mean, not Donnie. The Democrats tell black folks that the Republicans are the big bad boogeyman of politics. Now, I'm not partial to any group. I'm not partial to the Republicans or the Democrats.
But what have they done? What
have the Democrats done? We sit up here and we talk about the Republicans all day. Oh my God, the Republicans are so racist. They're so mean. What have the Democrats done for black folks the last 50 years to move black people ahead?
Gabe, you're forming your argument, but you're not offering any evidence or information on the other side of it.
Yeah,
I haven't. I mean, have you seen any any Democratic ran city? Because I live in Memphis, and this city's Democratic ran. Go to any Democratic ran city.
We're asking you questions to explain.
Okay, hold on.
So tell me, on your side, what have the Republicans done for the black community?
But we're not talking about the Republicans right now.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are, Gabe.
What we're saying, the question is, why are black folks moving from Democrat to Republican? And what I'm saying is, the Democrats have not offered black folks a damn thing. So we're looking at alternatives to try and turn our position around in this country. Now, I'm not saying the Republicans have done anything for black folks. I'm not saying that at all. Okay. I'm not saying it. Let me be clear about that. However, the Democrats the last 50 years have not done anything for black folks. See, I got folks online telling me to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because the Republicans are worse than the Democrats. But no one can tell me, as a black man, what is going to change for me, whether Joe Biden wins or President Donald Trump. Not a damn thing changes for me. So why am I going to continue? Black folks have been voting for the past Democrats.
Can I help you out? Can I get my housing credit back? Can my taxes decrease? Because when Trump got in office,
as a business,
but no, I need to understand, because when Trump got in office and the Republicans became the majority in both the houses, a lot of my things, coming from a middle-class black woman and black family, a lot of our things got taken away when they got in office. So the things that you're saying, that you're telling me, I don't, pro-choice, pro-life, that's your business, right? But when it comes to my pockets, where it comes to where I'm able to stay, when it comes to my buying power, that's what I look at. If I don't have buying power, I can't put back into the black community like I need.
On that. And as a business owner,
stop, Gabe. Let me talk. So when they got into office and those things happened to my tax credits as being a teacher, my housing credit as for having a house, our payroll taxes, my payroll went up. The taxes I pay out of my pocket from going to work went up, right? Where I used to get a refund, I don't get a refund no more. So tell me, how have the Republicans helped? I don't care about the matriarch. I don't care about anything.
I know.
When you take buying power and spending power and money out of my pocket that I could put back into the black community that will help build it up, that tells me that they don't give a damn about black people.
Okay, and the same can be said for Democrats as well. We want to sit up here and play this game.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
Well, and again, and as a business, because I'm a business owner. As a business owner,
I'm a business owner too.
Okay, I'm gonna vote Republican
to
save me on taxes.
Yeah, we have 3 businesses.
Okay, so as a business owner, you're sitting here telling me that you would vote Democrat versus Republican, knowing how the Republican.
Everyone is not a business owner. No. Everyone is not. When you are a part of money only in the
how does my life change whether Joe Biden wins or Donald Trump? Nobody can ever answer that question.
Well, if I can,
Scoop, go ahead.
If I can interject briefly here, hey, how y'all doing today? So real quick, I don't think this is. I don't think for a lot of black men that are voting Republican currently that this is a matter of choosing between 2 parties. I think a lot of black people with money were tired of politicians in general and were looking for someone to come and save the day. And everybody knows that Trump is about his tax cuts. Trump is about saving people with money, even more money, including himself. So I don't think it's about choosing.
But you have to have that money first.
True. True, but I think a lot of Americans were tired of politicians in general. And I'll be honest, I never took Trump serious when he first started running for office.
No one did.
I'm like, this man is just gonna get in here and just make this another episode of The Apprentice, and
here we are.
And here we are, living a 4-year episode of The Apprentice. Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. Why they still support that man, it boggles my mind.
He's gonna win again, by the way.
But Gabe, to touch on what you said, brother, if you can't figure out why Trump shouldn't be in office right now, I don't know what to tell you.
Why? I mean, but why should Joe Biden win? See, black folks in this, anybody but Trump. That stuff is ridiculous. Because as a black man, ain't nothing gonna change for me. As a black man, what black folks need to do, and Dr. Claude Anderson has talked about this for 60 years, and black folks still don't understand what they need to do. Dr. Claude Anderson says black folks don't need to vote Republican. They don't need to vote Democrat. He says we need to develop an independent party, and we need to, all this buying power and all this spending power black folks have, we need to collect as a collective. We need to say, look, we're not voting Democrat. We're not voting Republican. Whoever can bring tangibles to us as black people, that's who we're going to vote for. And we still got people running around here talking about, so if you vote Donald Trump, anybody but Donald Trump. Well, if Donald Trump is going to actually offer black people something, why not?
But what is he offering us besides the same racist
I'm not saying
rhetoric
he
that
has. I'm not saying he has.
Time he's been on this
I'm not saying he has, Scoop. I'm not saying he has.
You cannot use that as an argument. All you're doing is yelling louder and not saying anything different.
No, I'm not. I'm saying what I'm.
Stop. Just stop.
Pause real quick.
We're talking people, so stop it.
Yeah.
You're gonna make a valid point. Your point's not valid. The people who vote for Trump, who look like us, only do it because they have the money to make from it. And right now, 4 years later, realize that was some bullshit.
Yep.
You have to start at the bottom.
Oh God.
At the bottom, move the way up.
Okay.
If you have the money, yes, it makes a difference. But after a while, if you look at what's happening, it's caused chaos.
Yeah.
It's caused chaos. Why? It's just, see, the thing with black folks is we
don't do that thing with black folks.
No, we do. We look at this like a popularity contest. What we really do. We don't like Donald Trump. We look at Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and they make us feel good. So that's who we want in office. That's really what it comes down.
Candidates, Gabe. Wait, real quick. I want everybody to pause and mute real quick. Mr. You like the one that hasn't had a chance to get in there, and I know it's hard. So did you have any time on this before I say something?
Yeah, so as far as my personal perspective about why folks vote Republican, I think we all have to realize that the major separator, aside from race, socially has been class. So folks, not only who are looking for avenues to make more money, but we also have to think about the proximity and level to whiteness as well. Because really what Black men and some Black women too are turning to the Republican Party for is to continue that ascent towards whiteness. And that's really what we have to talk about if we're actually going to have this conversation. And we also have to be able to talk about the fact that the Democratic Party was not, it wasn't exactly originally created for Black people anyway. It was really the Republican Party, at least initially, before the major transition to the Democratic Party. But we also have to remember, too, that we've been shut out systemically from Republican-led initiatives as well as Democratic-led initiatives. And if we're really going to talk about why people are upset about why we are faced with either, Donald Trump or Joe Biden, is because what we're seeing is a continuous reward of career politicians. And that is what the Democratic Party is offering us. And yes, we're angry because we feel like, what choice do we have here? I've been making the comparison that it's between drinking milk and knowing you're lactose intolerant and some overnight oat milk. Like, what am I'll drink the oat milk. What am I going to do? Shit my brains out? But we still have to be realistic about what we're asking for and also make exact ask of the people that we're going to appoint. But we also collectively have to start thinking a little bit more radically about what outside of this two-party system can we have that's going to benefit all of us, not just Black men and trying to take back the home, which really and truly is to take power. Y'all have to acknowledge and admit that. Because that's really not for the benefit of all of us. It's for the benefit of cis, hetero, Christian people.
Anything with black men trying to get back on track, of course, you guys will be anti that. But I ain't even gonna get into that right now.
So, what are you talking about, Gabe?
I'm gonna leave it alone. We're
talking like you just keep bringing up this angry rhetoric.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
We're all saying we're not
we're for the black community.
I am.
What is the solution that you see that is going to benefit all of us if black men take the home? What is that supposed to look like?
Well, see, again, as black people, we're the only group in this country that are led by the women. Okay. And look at where our community
is. That's not true.
That's okay. I'm not. Listen.
Did you say we led by women?
Come here, baby.
Our black community is majority matriarchal. I mean, who would argue that?
There's a reason for that, Gabe, and it's because of the history of the black man being killed, and the women has to step up. It's not on purpose. It's not something that we want to do, and yet and still, are you still not seeing that black men are getting killed in the streets?
I mean,
treated like common criminals. What is the black woman supposed to do? Sit there and act like we can't do anything once our black men are dying?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is black men trying to.
Gabe, instead of you celebrate the fact that we have taken it upon ourselves to maintain and continue and still support and stand by and uplift and try to keep the homes together because it's been broken down by outside forces.
Yes.
You want to blame it on, well, since y'all running it, we need to take it back. That's some bullshit. You need to at least acknowledge the fact that the breakdown has happened. A lot of it out of our own control. Y'all have been slaughtered, incarcerated, been held back.
That's right.
Well, keep going, E. I apologize. Keep going.
And you've been slaughtered. I mean, so the fact of the matter is, we as women, for the beginning, on our backs for decades and centuries, have uplifted and taken care of and supported many households. So at least acknowledge the fact that we are doing it. We have no problem with a man leading anything, but you have to at least come with some solutions. And right now, the way you're reacting, all you're doing is offering all this stuff and no solution.
It's dick first. It's the dick first, and that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Let's be real. It's not about us against y'all. So let's stop that. That's the problem with the community right now. That's why we can say divided, because they look at us on the outside and you want to continue the argument of me against you. It's not about that. That's why we have these issues right now within the community, because we argue about the wrong stuff.
Yes.
Let's be real.
Absolutely.
It's not the argument. The argument's not about, let me put you back in front. Okay, well, shit, let's do it together. We've been doing it. We're not trying. You think I want to be the one doing all this stuff by myself?
No.
We want to. We still stand in front of guns for you. We sit there and put money for you. We do all these things for the black man because we love you. And we want the community to maintain, and we've maintained the community the best that we can, but you sit here and belittle it and look down upon it, and as if we got to retake it and vote for Trump. Don't give me that bullshit. I'm sorry, D, but don't give me that.
Also, I would just like to say too, we really have to think about the images of black women that we've been shown, especially in our age group and age bracket. And then one thing that I've been harping on recently with my show is the image of the welfare queen. And let's also take into consideration too that we as black women were experimented on for decades.
Yes.
Anesthesia. Men too now. All of us were. And that's why it's going to take all of us thinking differently if we all want to move forward.
Yeah,
absolutely. What we liked or what we wanted or who we were as individuals. They killed us. They destroyed our family structure.
So the welfare queen isn't an accurate depiction? That's all right.
No. So Gabe, do I look like Gabe?
The welfare queen is not an accurate depiction.
So that's what you see
of some of the black women in our community.
Do you also
be saying about white women?
I mean, all I gotta do is pull up. I'm in Memphis. I can ride 20 minutes to North Memphis and see tons of welfare queens. So let's not play that game.
Come on, guys. Gabe. If you look at the statistics, white people are on welfare more than black people.
Oh, there we go. The white people are on it more than.
But it's like data. It is.
But it's
data. And you know data that back that up.
There we go.
So,
Gabe, let me ask you a serious question.
Honestly, like I said, we don't think the welfare queen. We don't think that's real.
There are some women, yes, who want someone else to raise their kids. but there's probably something else going on socially or mentally that influences that makes that, and a system that supports and allows that and perpetuates it. I mean, that's what we really have to talk about it. And that's what I'm saying. You're not talking community, you're talking individual, and we can't grow unless we're talking in community.
Yeah, and real quick, okay, so I'm sorry, Gabe, I did have to mute you real quick because you keep putting out these images that represents one portion of the whole, and that image can be for any race, but you never want to acknowledge the fact that it can be for any race, which I don't understand. Because when we sit here and we tell you, like, you're sitting on a panel with 4 Black women, I don't believe any of us are on welfare. I don't believe any of us are like just mooching off the system. But yet you still want to keep pushing and perpetuating this image of like the Black woman is a welfare queen. How is that so when you're sitting and talking to 4 that are not? But you're stuck on that one thing. Like you focus on the negative. You focus on that one negative and run with it. And no matter what anyone says, that's all you stay with. And then when they give you tangible facts to dispute that, you roll your eyes at it, or you don't hear the other side no matter what. But go ahead.
So can I go? So we do this thing as Black people, like, well, the others are doing it too. That's the argument a lot of us do. The others are doing it too. Oh my God. It's kind of the same thing. Like when we had the WAP argument, Donnie, and you were on that panel when we had that WAP argument. Everyone was like, "But the white women do it too. The white women do it too." And we're not talking about other groups. I'm talking about us. And the fact that, like I said, I can ride 20 minutes. Go ahead, Donnie. Because I want to make sure I'm hearing this.
You missed what I said. I said you keep focusing on you focus on one negative subset of a whole group. And you try to generalize that one subset as the whole. And that is the problem. We can't fix anything or work on anything because you want to put this one little thing, like, yes, there are Black women on welfare, just like there are any other race, but you want to focus on the Black. So fine, there are Black women on welfare. There are plenty of Black women that are not on welfare, that are not moving off the system.
But
you don't say that, but that's all you focus on. So you kind of do.
Not true. That's not true at all, Donnie.
And then you don't want to listen. You don't want to listen to anybody dispute that. Anything they say is always met with your like I said, your sarcasm, your oh here we go again. And it's as opposed to, the facts of what they're presenting.
Okay.
Go ahead, Gabe. Or anybody else.
Can we pass it? Can we pass it? Can we pass the mic?
Let's go to another.
Yeah. Because I'm tired of frying right now. So
You ain't frying.
No, you're tired of having
what you're presenting is like Donnie said and everybody else, you're presenting hurtful rhetoric. Okay. And most of it is the stuff that I heard, and you want to know the truth because I think I'm older than you, Gabe. It's the stuff that I heard during the 80s when Reagan got into office. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm hearing you talk about. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm hearing you bring up. All of that rhetoric that the Republicans pumped into society about the Black community and about the Black women. That is what I'm hearing you say. And even then it wasn't true. It wasn't true then. It's not true now. And it's just, and all I keep hearing you say is, I hear you. And like Donnie said, and all this stuff, but you're not really listening.
I'm listening.
But these are people you're listening to react, and you're not listening to like actually understand.
To actually take in anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear you. I listen, I'm gonna leave this alone.
What choice do you have? You haven't had anything factual other than
okay, Rashida. All right, Rashida.
I'm confused.
Okay, Donnie, please move on because
she's right.
I presented my argument. And and it doesn't shock me because I get into these debates all the time on Facebook. It's part of the reason I'm in Facebook jail now.
They can keep debating with you.
We come up with this. Well, what about the other group's argument? It's so annoying. I've been having that debate for the last 10 years on social media. So, but we can move on.
like I said, you focus on that one thing, and that's what you hold on to like a dog with a bone. It wasn't even
I'm
about
letting you. Hey,
pound so much on negative stuff.
hey, I'm just saying it's
That's
a lot
right.
of truth to it, but okay.
Donnie, this isn't
It's
my
not a
show, but
lot
I
of-
would
it's
like to
some
hear what
truth-
the
no,
other
it's
black
some
men have
truth
to
it.
say.
It's not a lot
Yeah.
of truth to it.
Donnie, I would like to hear what the other black men have to
Yes.
say. I know this isn't my show, but you know, I would just
No,
before we
I want them to
Composure. I want to hear it. Spectacles.
Scoob and Scrap.
Scrap, Scoob, what do y'all have to say?
Scrap, you over there chilling, man. You just
So I'm just curious to the good brother Gabe.
Yeah,
What's your beef with
or
black
the
women?
political
bro?
field,
I have
I
no.
got you.
Listen, let me
Because-
make this clear. I'll answer that for you, Scoop. I don't have a beef with black women, other than they're not accountable for anything. The part of the reason we're and see Rashida's laughing, and you know it's cute to people like her, but and I'm being real, Scoop. A lot of the reason that black people are in the position that we're in now.
You not know me.
A lot of the
Ladies,
reason
hold on.
that
hold on.
the black community is in the position that it is in now because black women refuse to be accountable for anything. They run away from accountability. They duck and dodge it.
Not at all.
I had a meme. I said, when you mention the word accountability to black women, and I had a little cat on there hissing, that's for real. And you see how I mentioned accountability and how they all reacted? You would have thought I was throwing blood at a vampire.
Wait, hold on. I think this is more so about you solely blaming this on black women.
And I'm not saying this. Now, Dunny has been on my show before. Now, and she over there skinning and grinning. That's Dunny. I see you. You skinning and grinning, but you know yourself. I've been very critical of black men on my platform. I say black men need to learn how to lead. They need to learn how to lead, and that a lot of the reason black women do not respect black men is because of our lack of leadership ability. I've said that on my platform. You were on my show when I said that. But when I flip it around and I start talking about accountability and sisters don't know how to follow, all hell breaks loose.
No, because this is the thing, Gabe. Yes, you have said this on your show, but what I always tell you is you gloss over that real quick and move on to attacking black women. Yeah, you might touch on the fact that there is a lack of leadership in black men, which is why black women have, or have stepped up and are staying in the forefront. But you just completely want to bypass that. And we have also talked on my Instagram live, having this conversation all the time. So yeah, you touch on it for a second, but you don't, and that's why I always tell you, I'm like, it's not about a lack of accountability. Black women, we hold each other. We have conferences, we have meetings, we hold each other accountable for our shortcomings.
No, you do not.
And we're failing. You, like I said, we have our meetings. I'm pretty sure
black women coddle black women. They don't hold them accountable for anything.
No, I'm pretty sure every black woman on the panel has had.
I gotta stop you right there.
I can't do this.
Black women coddle other black women. They have these feel-good conferences, and they go on these little powwows and these little getaways to make one another feel good about all the mistakes they've made, instead of holding them accountable.
Oh no, brother!
You've been at our conference. You've been there.
That's nowhere near.
That's not true. How? I'm listening. I want to hear this.
That's black women uplifting each other and supporting each other.
That's right. They're coddling each other. It's not holding accountable. That's exactly what it is, and that's why we're in the position that we are in today. As a group, we have our women are being coddled and being told that no matter how much foolery and effery they're doing, I'm trying to keep it clean, Donnie, that it's okay. You can do no wrong.
That is not accurate. But go ahead, Scoop.
I'm just gonna sit back. Y'all go ahead and attack because I don't agree with that.
I don't have any Scoop because this is the thing. No matter what we say, he's gonna tell us we're not right or we're right. So what's the point of
I watched like the first 2 episodes of the Michael Jordan thing. Let's talk about that. Like we can talk about literally space.
Anything.
I don't care.
I missed that, so I can't talk about that. But no, that game. Okay, I mean, Scoop, Scrap. Did you want to?
All thing I was gonna say, referring back to when the question first started, because I don't be into politics that much like that, especially when it comes to. I focus more on the, what I'm saying, when it comes to the political shit, is what affects my community. I'm not when it comes to presidential and all that. It's almost like they both have their pros and cons. So I don't give a fuck about it because I feel like sometimes it don't affect me. But like I do agree with you, Janae, about with the tax. You know what I'm saying? The tax cut that's coming out of our paycheck how it has risen ever since Trump has gotten to office. So what that do, you know what I'm saying, affect us, you know what I'm saying, in our pockets, and to put back into the black community. But like I said, I always focus on, you know, like the mayors, you know what I'm saying, districts, you know what I'm saying, the districts and all. That's what I like to focus on because that's what impacts our community the most. That affects me. So that's what I like to focus on. And then as we was coming up, we was always taught that Republican was for the rich and Democrat was for the poor. That's how I was taught, you know, coming up. And so that's why we was always taught to vote for Democrat because they're more for us than the Republicans are.
They have more programs.
That's why
that I don't agree with that at all, Scrap. But okay.
You know, so that's, but I'm saying that's how they always and that's how I always presented itself too. I can't lie about that. And so when Donnie sit there and said that about the Republicans being more Republicans, you know, being black, I'm looking at it as, is it to work your way in to conquer? You know, play the little political game and all that shit that you have to play to get in the door. And then once there's so many of us that's in there, we take control to where we can flip it to where it does help out people in the lower income, you know what I'm saying, the lower class people.
So I'm gonna wrap this up real quick on this point and get this last little say in. So the thing is, I feel like more Black Republicans, the reason why we're seeing a rise in Black Republicans is because of the fact that, yes, we were raised kind of just to give the Democratic Party our support no matter what. However, if you were somebody that kind of attention into society and what was going on and all that kind of stuff, you grew up to also see that, yes, I stay with the Democratic Party because I do see both of them as the lesser two evils, and the Democratic Party is it for me because of the fact that at the end of the day, they are more so for the people. However, I will say I get kind of that shift because the Democratic Party can be so much for the people that they are enabling. And to me, that is a problem. And that is something that I saw working in the community with the homelessness and all that kind of stuff. Like, you can't, you know, I take it back to that old saying, you know, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for one day, but if you teach him, you feed him, you know, for a lifetime. Mm-hmm. What I see a lot in some or a lot of the programs with the Democratic Party is they're giving the fish as opposed to teaching, and that's not helping us. And so I can understand or see why so many of the millennials or people coming up are saying, you know, I'd rather be taught and go this route and ride with the Republican Party, even though that's also, I feel like they're kind of more so doing it for a selfish gain as opposed to for the people. Like, I'd rather just go here because they're going to at least teach me how to do this and pick myself up and I can do it for myself. But they don't hand it to me. Yeah, instead of getting a handout. But they don't. But what they're missing is, but the Republican Party to me doesn't really. I don't feel like they really want to show you either. Like, it's like they're for the people who already got it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you don't have it, they're not really just trying to show you how to get it. It's like, well, you got to figure it out. Now, once you figure it out, we with you. Because once you get up here, oh, it's all, you know, smooth sailing.
Because a bunch of this grandfathered in.
Yeah, but they not helping you get there. So it's like y'all said, we really do need a whole new party. But in this climate and where we are, how do you get a whole new party that's actually going to be impactful enough to actually win?
Donnie, Dr. Clark Anderson has wrote 3 books about it. This is what gets me.
Why doesn't he start it? Then why
he's tried? Actually, he's actually tried. Dr. Clark Anderson went up to Detroit. He tried to start an Africa town. The Negroes ran Dr. Clark Anderson up out of that town. And to this day, Detroit is one of the most gentrified cities in America. He wrote books. We've had Dr. Wilson has talked about this. Elijah Muhammad has talked about this. We've had forefathers talk about this. And we're just sitting around here like a dog chasing his tail. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Oh, the Democrats are so much better than the Republicans. And really, all the Democrats are, they just smile in your face. They're just like the Republicans. They just smile. Democrats hate Negroes just as much as Republicans do. So it's kind of frustrating to hear Black folks talk like that. There is no lesser of two evil parties. They're both just as bad for Black people. And like I said, read Power Numbers by Dr. Anderson. He breaks all this down. He's been a part of presidential campaigns. He's been a part of political campaigns in major cities. We've had forefathers talk about this. Malcolm X has talked about this. So, I mean, I don't know why we're sitting up here acting like we don't know what needs to be done. And it's been talked about for the last 50 years. This is why I said in the chat, most black folks simply are not going to make it because we've been given the tools by our forefathers and by people way more intelligent than I. They've given us the keys on what we need to do, and we're still not going to do it. So I've just come to the conclusion most black folks just ain't going to make it because we're not following the guidance and we're not applying the tools that we've already been given by our forefathers. So I'm gonna leave it at that as far as the politics go.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna move on. I kind of hate the next thing you go to.
I'm sorry.
So the next topic that I want to touch on, and I kind of hate to open this door, even though it's already been open, was the breakdown of the patriarchy in the Black family. Now, I want to touch on that because in the clip that I wanted to show was a video of it's some reality show. I don't know the name. I don't watch them, but it's some reality show, and I guess the husbands were talking about. Because the wife felt like the wife of one of the husbands had made the statement that she felt like a single mom, even though she's married, right? And they were discussing this of why would she feel that way? Because again, she's married, she's not a single mom, she's a married woman. And one of the husbands was explaining, well, maybe she feels like that because I just, I provide or something. He was saying, like I or I'm the provider, so I make sure. Even though the wife worked too, so I don't know. Anyway, but he was like, I make sure that
financially everything.
Yeah, financially everything okay. But as far as going to games and doing all this other extra stuff, and I guess he didn't feel like maybe that was his role or something. But then one of the other husbands said, well, why would you? What's the gain of doing that? Like, what's the gain of being there for your kids as a father? What's the gain of outside of providing for them? What's the gain of going to those games and, being that attentive and present person? And it's like, this is why I say, you can't put the breakdown of patriarchy solely on the woman, because that mindset of I don't have much to gain from being present in my child's life is a real thing. And that's something that I wanted us to talk about. Like, why do y'all feel like that breakdown is there or is here and is still present in our community?
Donnie, do you have the clip? Is it on YouTube?
No, you can't start.
No, I'm not starting. No, I'm asking, do you have the clip? Do you have it? Like, is it on YouTube? Because I can screen share and show it, Donnie. I'm trying to help you out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Give me my flowers.
Well, I'll try to send it to you.
Send it to me and I'll try and play it because I actually want to see it. But you give me my flowers, Donnie.
Okay, but I still want to hear what everyone else what do y'all think is the breakdown?
Yeah. And I'm not going to start this one because I know where this conversation is going. So just set this easy layup for me. I want to start
with our only guest male. School, I want to start with you. What do you think is about that?
So I think that a lot of people nowadays are marrying for status. I think that's where the breakdown begins, is that we're not really communicating with each other and we're getting into these situationships that turn into 24, 30-year marriages. And then, 15, 20 years in, we look back and go, well, who the fuck are you? Excuse my French, but you know what I mean? Like we're not having those initial conversations, really getting to know the people that we're getting in bed with. And then when they show us who they truly are, then we look surprised like we've seen a ghost. Personal opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
I agree. I think things are. Well, I will say this though. If you think about the makeup of a family and how things have been and used to be, and I think I'm older than Lord, all of y'all. Men were always taught to provide. You provide, and mother, nurture. So a lot of men, I think, feel in their minds, and we also feel, as long as you're providing and making sure the needs are met financially, you're doing your job, everything else is up to you. And we want this new age mentality of things, but also want, I guess, old school. I hate saying that, but old school things. And a lot of people, I agree with Scoop, you're not having these conversations of what will this dynamic be? What are we looking for? Because you have to have that conversation. And some men and women in their frame of reference, they saw mom did this, dad did that. So you get with someone and you're not asking them, hey, what did you see in your house, or what was it? And you have this expectation and not even telling them what you expect and want them to read your mind. And you can't have that.
Absolutely.
You can't have somebody you want them to provide for you. You're not starving, your lights are on, but you want all this extra, and we're both working. So if we're both working, we're both doing these things. What are you asking of me if you never even told me what you're looking for? And I think that's the problem. People are skipping those important conversations.
Absolutely.
You want people to be mind readers. And he's like, you dress, you got food, you do what you want to do. And the sad thing is, for a long time, some women lived a lifestyle of, I'm happy. So, but then when kids get involved, all of a sudden you want help. It's like, wait a minute, you've been happy for all this time. How are you changing the dynamic? So I think it's a missing conversation, and there's no right or wrong. It's just that no one's having these conversations. She had it with herself, but she didn't pull them in the conversation. So,
well said.
Okay.
Very good.
What about you, Ra?
Well, I think that the changes as far as the breakdown of the patriarchy. I'm not really someone that I don't believe in gender roles conventionally. I think they were functional. They had a function. Like, men were stronger and could run faster and could chuck a spear a little harder and stronger than a woman could potentially, but that didn't limit them from doing that if that's what they wanted to do. I think that a lot of this stuff is really like social. And the unfortunate part is that we're of the way in which that we're conditioned, it causes us to think that these are the roles that we need to take on, not thinking or incorporating the fact that maybe that doesn't fit. Like, I know I'm personally not Mary Poppins. I'm not going to bippity bop and clean the whole house. I will clean the house, but I'm not leading with that's not my soft skill that I'm leading with. And so for me, I know what I need that would make me happy, and I have to be able to articulate that appropriately to find the proper or appropriate person for what I'm looking for. And I don't feel like people take the time to do that. And on top of that, people don't take the time to think about or assess what they saw growing up and how it informs their opinion and perception of the outside world. And that's something that has to be done with a spiritual advisor or a therapist or someone that can help to kind of unlock those doors. And that's the work that we're not willing to do. And I think that comes from a lot of what we see socially, and also especially what we see in our house and our reactions to the people that we meet when we first get out and start dating and start learning and trying to understand and figure out what we like and don't like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
We don't communicate, and that's a big part of the problem.
Yep.
I think it's we're afraid. I think, when I was dating heavily, I was told, don't tell a man like, hey, I want X, Y, and Z, because then it'll scare him away.
Yeah.
So you go through these situations like, I'll just one day you will tell me that you love me, and
it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't.
As I learned.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I guess I'm saying this. Oh, sorry.
No, I'll wait. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm saying this because I am married, and it took me a long time to get married because I was the conversations I was having, I would commit to somebody weren't to my liking, and I could say that for the other person that I was dating, the conversations. And so I completely 100% agree. You have to have conversations to communicate what the hell you want. It's no longer a time to be silent, men and women both. It's no longer a time to be silent. you have to know the things that you're going to compromise on and what you're not going to compromise on, because everybody, you're not going to get, marriage, you're not going to always get your way. It's not it, and if that's what you're thinking, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. You win some, you lose some, and then you come together and it works for the, the team. That it just is what it is. And so you have to have those conversations about, hey, what did your family used to do? You were in sport. Did people come and support you? No? Okay, why? And you ask those questions, because also that starts to bring up things and thought patterns in that person, like, oh, why didn't my daddy come and support me? So they could start asking questions and healing some of the traumas that they have. Because when you get with somebody, you each have separate traumas. Good or, sometimes trauma happens on purpose and sometimes it doesn't. Your parents did the best they could to raise you at this, they just done the best they could to raise you. They don't always know that because they didn't, cheer you on when you got all A's, that didn't hurt your feelings. Maybe that was just their expectation, is that all A's isn't something to celebrate because you're supposed to do that, but you have to talk to your partner and figure out, hey, this is the way I grew up. How'd you grow up? Okay, how'd that make you feel? Well, this made me feel this way. And so, how can we bring our two experiences together to make it work for us?
Amen.
Yeah, say that, because I definitely almost married a woman a few years ago. We were like night and day. I looked at her and saw the most beautiful woman I had ever seen, and she looked at me and saw opportunity, and we got together and created a nightmare.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's all about opportunity. Unfortunately, people do it for status. It looks good, or this person fits and what a lot of people have to realize, and when you get older, you notice it. You can't marry what your family is used to. You can't just marry into that she fits or he fits the family. You gotta like how your family fits. And you have to really be genuine on what you want, who you want, and what your needs are, and not sit by, I must be married by this day and this time. And that's just not reality, but it's all about the conversation you have to have and being honest and being willing to say, you know what, we're not going to work out because we're not yoked in that way. You have to date, initially date and see what you want, and when you date initially, then go do it. But you can't be quiet. Men and women cannot be quiet about what you want or your expectations.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah, but see, like I was about to say, because like how you say people marriage and for status, it's like it's a like a show and prove type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, look at me, I'm married, but the whole time behind the scenes, motherfuckers probably don't even get along at all. It's just the perception, you know what I'm saying, to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing in your relationship? You know what I'm saying? Why y'all not moving forward? And I've been, and that's why when things do come out, you be like, damn, I know they were going through all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because people are not married. They marrying really still, they marrying a total stranger. They're not getting to know the person. Like y'all sitting there saying, like, communication is the key, because you just don't know how much stuff gets solved through talking, how much stuff gets solved, or some type of understanding comes through conversation. Now then you'll understand why a person is this way and that way and where everything coming from. And then I think we need to get out that mind frame to, if I provide, I don't have to do nothing else, or if I just take care of the kids, I don't have to need to do nothing else. Like, we need to get out of that mind frame, because especially as a father, why you wouldn't want to go to your kids' basketball games or whatever the case may be, especially if it's a boy. You know what I'm saying? And why would you want to be there to be that support system, you know what I'm saying, to root him on, and all that. Because I played sports when I was young. My parents didn't come to my games or anything like that. But it was just one time my dad did come to my game. How much boost, you know what I'm saying, how much energy, how much I wanted to show and prove to my dad how good I am. And so, I hit a game-winning shot and everything, and just to see my daddy running on the court saying, that's my son, that's my son. Like, you just don't know how much, you know what I'm saying, excitement and joy that brings to you, but, you know what I'm saying, to show that support, and like, man, I made my daddy proud. And to be like, that's my, just to be the brag like that. So why would you not want to be in your child's life, you know what I'm saying, and show that support and root your child on and whatever they doing, and to show them that somebody is here for you, you know what I'm saying, and no matter how bad, you know what I'm saying, you probably did or whatever, they're supposed to be there to pick you up, you know what I'm saying, to tell you, don't worry, we're gonna practice. We gonna do this together so you can be better. Don't feel down about yourself. Like, we need to stop putting everything solely on the moms, because when I do be going to my partner's kids' football games, I see mostly moms out there. You know, I'm like, what the fuck dad is it? That's bad, you know.
So okay, so y'all know he's been silent. He put himself on mute.
Hold on, let me grab my Hennessy. Hold on.
I need some. I should have got a shot of something.
Hey, what you gotta say?
Yes, here we go.
Okay, he was locked and loaded. He probably got a list.
Yeah.
I've been waiting on this question.
Everything y'all say, you might know.
So
he didn't hear anything we said.
Don't forget, I'm going after you. I'll wrap it up. Go ahead.
To start off, I actually agree with the whole panel in that there is a communication breakdown. I feel like Black men and Black women need to learn how to get along. That's one of the big things I always push on my podcast. We have to learn how to get along. Yeah, I do. I talk about that a lot. Don't come for me, Donnie. I don't think we don't listen to each other. I have a problem with that too. I have to get better about that. I ain't perfect, you know. I don't think we listen to each other enough. I feel like when we come to each other, our defenses are up. You know what I'm saying? So that's something we do have to work on. I'm not married. Janae is. I don't know if anyone else is, but I respect, married people a lot. So when they start talking about marriage and talking about certain things, I respect that because, again, I'm not married. I'm out here tricking. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not married at all. So that's why when it comes to marriage topics, I let Frank do a lot of that talking because he's been married 14 years. But I do think like there is a communication breakdown and that we have to learn how to communicate with each other and get along. Now, that being said, Scrap said something that kind of stuck out to me. He said he be going to his homeboys' kids' games and it'd be mostly women in there.
I knew that's what he was going to pick out.
Oh, yeah.
He said, I knew that was the one thing he was going to pick out. Absolutely.
Let me read something here I found. And he talks about the Black-white difference in marriage and marital stability. Okay. And it says this: young adults in the United States are waiting longer to marry than any other time in the past century. Women's median age at first marriage currently stands at the age of 27 compared to a median marriage age of 24 back in the 1990s. Although social scientists debate whether today's young people will eventually marry in the same numbers as earlier generations, marriage remains commonplace. In 2013, more than 8 women out of 10 were married by their early 40s. Okay. Now let's look at this, and we're going to look at the contemporary differences. Okay. At the same time, racial and ethnic differences in marriage are striking. The median age at first marriage is roughly 4 years higher for Black than white women. You mean to tell me that the median age for Black women being married for the first time is 4 years higher? That's 30 versus 27. At all ages, Black Americans display lower marriage rates than any other racial and ethnic group. This is according to the Census Bureau done back in 2010. So it says right here, our tabulations from the U.S. Bureau shows that nearly 9 out of 10 white and Asian women have ever been married by the early 40s. It's had more than 8 in 10 Hispanic women and more than 3/4 of American Indians. Yet fewer than 2/3 of Black women have been reported to have been married by the same age. And that is according to the U.S. Bureau Census. So when I get on here and I talk about Black women do not value marriage, that is why. When I come on here and talk about Black women would rather marry bums than competent men, these numbers prove my point. Yet again, Black women, they put a priority on men that look cool, that look good, and that have swag, and it translates over to their marriage rates. So when you going to them games and you seeing ain't no daddies there, the women have consciously.
She just muted him, baby.
Because she a hater. Donnie a hater.
My husband is in the background laughing at him right now. I'm sorry, Gabe. Like you
just. I just read you marriage rates according to the U.S. Bureau. The U.S. Bureau census.
See, stop unmuting yourself. Don't unmute yourself. Look, you like to pull up these stats, right? On Black women marrying later, whatever, but you miss out, or you don't pull up the stats that show, you know what reasons why that could be is because there are not a lot of Black men. Black men are getting incarcerated. Black men are getting hooked on drugs. Black men are doing this, that. Like it shows those stats from the same Census Bureau also say that, hey, this is also happening in the Black community. So if there are less Black men to choose from, and you're gonna get the higher single Black woman higher, especially if they're trying to stay with Black men. But you always neglect that. That's where we have issues, because you come for Black women so hard, but you always want to neglect the other side of something. And that is my problem.
Can I finish my point, Donnie, please? May I, please?
No.
What kind of pissed me off is the fact that he said we choose bums to
y'all do. I just read why.
You do. Stop, Gabe, because this is a thing.
You do.
Now you are disrespecting my husband, and you telling me that I married a bum, and we not going there.
I didn't say no. I'm not saying that. I said on average.
Gabe, you just said it. So I'm gonna need you to stop, because you're not gonna come for mine like that.
Come on now.
That's my husband.
Come on. I'm not
chose to get married later on because it was a choice. I didn't have to get married for status. I didn't have to get married because I needed somebody to take care of me. I didn't have to get married because, it was a dowry I didn't have to get married for any of those reasons. I chose to get married at the age I got married.
This is why Black women are the least married group in the country.
Because you will not disrespect my husband.
This is why Black women are the least married group in the country.
Because right now, like we good.
This is why.
Whatever you guys say right now,
this is why.
Hold on.
Because you really are. Like, I'm upset because you disrespected my.
How you have the proof of what you're saying. I hear the statistics. Please.
No, I just read everything.
But you're not understanding why the statistics.
And numbers to prove my argument.
Reading
it
stuff
also says that Black women and Latinx women are overweight as compared with their body mass index, which we are now finding out is based on European.
There it is. The numbers ain't real. Argument.
I'm used to that. There it is. But Gabe, I just said I am an example. But like I said, what you're saying and how you're saying it, you're disrespecting the women who are married, who did choose to get married later in life. My husband is thebomb.com. But you just said stop because you just said Black women marry bums. And we pay attention to swag.
The majority of Black women get with bums. Oh, let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase it.
So what you're saying is that I need to roll up on you.
Majority of Black men are bums.
But look,
Gabe,
when I made that statement, I was not saying that the dad's not active for anything in their life. It's just
right, because they choose bums and losers to have kids with. That's why.
Oh my God!
How do you know?
You're like that.
We good, Gabe. We like real good.
The other day, it's all about how you frame your argument. What you say and how you say is so disrespectful. The fact of the matter is this: we all know sometimes if a man and woman communicate, he may have to work 24/7 to make sure ends meet. That's why he can't be there. He's not a bum. He probably working. But the fact of the matter is this: how dare you sit there and say that we choose this over that, like as if let's call it real. Black men choose some shit too.
Because most of you aren't married,
right?
Compared to your counterparts, most Black women are not married.
Stop blaming Black women for everything. Stop it. And stop acting like.
So it's Black men's fault y'all not married?
No. The reason that Black women are not married because our men are not in the house. Our men are dead in the fucking street. They're in jail. That's why the fuck we're not married. don't you?
It's because you guys do not value productive men. That's point blank, period.
Boy,
You don't value
bullshit.
productive men. There are plenty
One
of
time,
well-to-do,
boy,
productive black men in the country.
Bullshit.
You guys do not want the productive men.
Hurt.
Simple
That's
as
really
that.
the problem. You full of hurt
It's
because
simple as
somebody
that.
you chose.
No, ma'am,
broke
absolutely
your
not.
heart. And so
Hey,
now you're
listen,
blaming all the other
y'all
black
can't
women
argue.
for it. And you
Listen,
can tell me yes,
don't
no,
care
blah,
about
blah,
y'all
blah, blah, blah,
feelings.
whatever you want to.
I just read
You're
facts
full
on
of
this
shit.
panel.
Sorry, sir.
I don't
you
care about
didn't.
none of y'all feelings. I just read facts. And the
this
facts
is
are y'all the
Gary.
least married group in the country.
You
Y'all
just
the
said
least
that
married group in the country.
Red has nothing
And y'all, you guys, black women do not value productive black men.
And that's why they're not at the game.
Black
That's what she
women do
And
not
marriage
value
does not make
productive
you a
black
But
men.
marriage doesn't
What does
make
that
you
mean?
anything.
What
What does marriage do?
But Gabe, so how about this? Okay, real quick. So Gabe, how about this? Since you're all about stats and figures, and you say that's what you live by.
He's about
So,
that country.
okay.
Don't
That's
taxes.
bullshit. Because when we pull stats and figures, he tells us, "There y'all go." So there you go,
I know,
guys.
but I like to, I try. So facts. Up until the war on drugs in the 1980s, black marriage was pretty much the same as everybody else,
Yes,
right?
it was. Absolutely.
Black men and black
It sure was.
Okay.
Sure was.
And then the prison population, the black men that became incarcerated increased, and that began the decline of black marriage. But you don't want to look at this kind of stuff. These were choices that black men were doing to sell drugs. And therefore, and then they got caught up in that. And yes, and when they passed that bill, when they got hard on crime and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not saying it was all the way fair.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not saying it was all the way fair, but when it started and they were getting caught up in that, yes, that began the decline in black marriages, for black women, because again, our men were being incarcerated. But see, I know you're because you don't like to hear those facts. That's where the decline started. At first, we were all together. We were matching up, but then when y'all started leaving the household because y'all started being other places, like either dead or in jail, in the streets or whatever. That's where it all started. But you don't want to ever start to talk about
today.
The root of
incarceration rates are at an all-time low. So tell me why your marriage rates are still if incarceration rates are at an all-time low. Those are numbers. So that's facts, okay? That's across all ethnic groups. Tell me why black women's marriage rates are still in the toilet.
You know why? Let me tell you this. You have to remember in our households, we have moms and dads telling you, don't be me, wait, don't get married young. I'm just telling you, I can tell you right now, men have told their sons, son, don't be me. You wait till you have all your stuff ready before you do what you have to do. Young girl, don't be me. Get your education. Men can wait, all that. So you have men and women waiting longer and longer because we have been told by grandparents and parents, there's no rush. Don't do it right now. Enjoy a little bit of life. Get your education. It's an overall thing because all of us are getting married older now. Not just black women and black men. We have been telling, and we tell our kids this now. Hey, take your time. You ain't gotta do that right now. Wait a second.
Elise, I actually agree with you on that. But tell me why black women are still having children out of wedlock at abnormal.
Everybody has children.
No. There it is. There's the argument I be talking about. The white people are doing it too. I'm not talking about white folks. Why are black women still having kids out of wedlock at double the rate as everyone else?
No, I'm Gary. Tell him, Gabe. You do know that the birth rate
of black children are born into single parent households.
Gabe, you do know the birth rate for African American children are the lowest out of any ethnic group. You know that, right?
He's not gonna pull that stat up.
You don't.
You do know that, right?
That's
we have the lowest.
But why are if black women are getting married later? Why are black women still having children out of wedlock, almost double than any other group?
And how are men having children also out of wedlock? You ain't gonna
but because most black men are not single parents, most black women are. Of course, y'all don't ignore that fact.
What?
Wait,
most
what?
black
men,
women
first
are
of all,
single
they're not
parent in
being
dating
counted as a
age.
parent.
Most black
So
women
what you're saying is
are
when a
single
man has a baby
parents,
with the black woman,
most
I'm
black
sorry, when
men
these
aren't.
bum, because I want to say this right. What
Because
you're
you
saying
share
is
the
when
bottom
these women pick these
20%
bum ass
of the
men to have
men in the
children
community.
with,
That's
then they're
why.
picking the ones who are going to leave them and leave them with the children. So the man ain't got no kids, but the woman got a kid. Is that what you're saying?
I am not saying it at
Okay,
all.
that's all I'm saying. I'm like,
no, most black men do not have
the reason
children.
they're not counting. No, Gabe,
Most black men don't
the
have
reason why
kids.
they're not
No,
counting
most
all
black
the single
men,
fathers
most
like
black
you
men
because
that are
they're
single
not,
and never been
see,
married
they're
do
not
not have
fathers.
children.
They're not, they're not
So who are these women
they're
having
not getting
kids
counted
with?
as a single
Or
father.
the
They're
bottom
not being
20%
counted as a
of
child.
the
Gabe,
community
who are these women having kids
having
with?
babies with the bums and the dusties and the deplorables.
Gabe,
Back
Gabe,
your-
I'm
you
confused.
do it.
I want to know who these women having kids with.
I want to know where he's. I want to know where he's getting these stats on all these black men being bums,
I asked
dusty,
him for that a long time ago.
and
He
deplorable.
I'm
Where's
looking
your dad?
Because if we're going back to what
Yeah,
Scrap
Marcus,
said,
I'm not
but
saying
real quick, if we going back to what Scrap said about being a majority of women at these basketball games, I can tell you that my dad didn't come to my basketball games because he was working.
Yep.
right.
And I was
Exactly.
brought up in my house that you take care of home, you
Yep.
make sure that your finances continue to progress, and you make
Right.
sure that your wife and children have everything that they need, and you take care of your family. And I had this conversation with my dad a few years ago because I was upset that he didn't come to my marching band performances, that he didn't come to my football games, and wasn't there to cheer me on in my basketball games. But I understood that he loved me. And that didn't make him a bum for not being there because my mom was constantly there. The roles were different in my household. My dad took care of the bills. My mom took care of us, but they loved us just the same. So be careful before you put out this stigma that all black women are just marrying and having babies with bums and dusties and ain't shit dudes. Because brother, you could not be more sadly
Could not.
mistaken.
Okay.
Could not.
And we're of that generation. We're of that generation where our dads are out there working that's where we're of that age group where the dad was working longer hours to make sure we can be in those events. We can go to those things. And mom was the one frustrated coming to all the stuff and all of that. My mom came to all of my games. My dad was out there working.
Yep.
My dad had
And that's
saw me play a thing, but we talked about that night. He was working, making sure we were taken care of.
And
And
then
that's
when I
not to
made that
say-
statement,
are having children by men
when I
that are
made that
working.
statement,
Come
too, I
on,
was
guys.
saying that
Man, let's get real out here, because most of the time these
when I
women
made
are
that statement, I'm sitting there saying for
begging for child support. It don't work. So I'm not talking about men that are out here being productive. Scrap, your father was being a productive man. He wasn't. My dad was the same way. He was a postman. He worked 12 13-hour days. So of course he couldn't come to some of my events. I'm not talking about productive black men. I'm talking about these men out here that aren't there for their children because they choose not to be. Come on now, like we sitting up here playing all day after these dudes.
We're not. We're going off of what you're saying, Gabe. We're going off of what you're saying, Gabe.
They're not having babies with I'm not saying every black woman, but for the most part, they're not having black men.
No,
Like, let's
But you said the majority of black women were well growing.
Yeah.
Now you saying majority of women get with have babies for bums.
Rosie, this is why we're in the position we're in now, because no one wants to be honest about the position that we're in.
I know you are so backpedaling, Gabe.
Okay.
Like now you just said what we just said.
But real quick, Gabe, you are solely placing this blame on black women, and to be honest with you, brother, that's really starting to piss me off because it's not just on black women. But hear me out, bro. But hear me out. It's not just black women. It's us collectively. That's the breakdown. We share this shit.
Yep.
Okay, that fall on all of us. We're not communicating. We're not taking care of home. We're not having the necessary conversations to realize that, hey, you may be the bomb.com physically, but mentally and in your heart, you fucked up. You can't blame that on just black women. It comes on us as a whole. And until we have these necessary conversations to get on the same playing field and we figure out what these problems are, we're gonna keep spinning in circles.
Accountability, and that's the problem. This is why we're in the position we're in now.
Did you
But how?
But
how?
Community.
You can't just place that on
Doing all
black
this in
women.
community.
But how are you putting this all on black women, Gabe?
Accountability off the sisters, and let's try and spread it around a little bit, and mostly put most of the blame on the men. Let's cut that bullshit out, man.
Bro, we just said split it in half. Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Hold on,
split in half now.
Out.
hold on,
you
because
get my-
nobody
split in half now.
and you
gonna
got
split
black
in half.
men. We got black men on this panel telling you right now it don't solely fall on them, and we're taking responsibility for our actions as well. It falls on both of us. Who hurt
This
you,
is
bro?
so textbook,
Who hurt
man.
you? Who hurt
Who
you?
didn't I say that? I said somebody had to hurt him.
I mean, of course,
Because
somebody
I get
had
it.
to hurt me when I
Because
black.
I
and
get
you
it.
are not
Dave,
dealing
look,
with your
brother,
own trauma,
brother,
Dave.
real quick. I got a solution for
Twitter
this right here.
rhetoric.
Gabe,
Who hurt
listen,
you?
Gabe, listen.
Come on,
I
man.
get it, brother.
You sound
I get
hurt.
it. Because a couple years ago, I got towed down by a black woman too, and I had that same mentality until I realized that I was the one that made the choice to be there with that toxic person, and that don't fall
Thank
on
you.
all women.
I'm not
That's
talking
accountability.
about that. I've taken responsibility for the women I've been
No, Gabe,
Yeah,
because you're
yeah,
still putting the trauma. You still have trauma that you need to deal with, Gabe.
No, you
I'm
haven't.
sorry. Because
I mean-
your whole everything you continue to talk about, and everybody on this panel is saying it, even the people who are listening, they're saying you are putting too much blame on
Of
black
course, I'm putting
women.
too much blame on
When
black women.
in a whole, it has to
course
do
I
with
am.
us
No, I
as
am.
a community.
I'm putting too much
But
I
Gabe,
don't want
Gabe,
you-
you're
if it's
blaming.
hard-
Okay, real quick,
Okay,
real
so
quick.
Gabe, so it's all our fault, right? I'm taking accountability, Gabe. So tell me, what have we done as black women? What lay out for me the stats that we have done and tell me that what's the solution? Because all you're doing is spewing stats that I don't even that are one-sided that keeps us divided.
They're
So I
true,
want-
they're
I
one
want you to tell me right now, what have we done? How is it all our fault that the black community is a piece of shit? So tell me right now, I'm a black woman asking you, black man, what have we done to tear this shit down? And also tell me how we're going to fix it. Because you're not helping, you're not getting solutions. Because this is why we can't get shit done now. So I want you to tell me right now, Gabe, with all your damn stats and shit, what have we done as black women that has torn it down? Lay it out. Give me the list so we can check it off. Tell me.
You've run men out of the house. I've talked about that before. When Senator Monahan did his
Just
report,
give
the
the list.
Monahan
Give the
report.
list. I don't want to hear about the stats. Just give the list. I mean,
Give us the whole
Black
list.
women,
I want to hear the whole
as
list.
a whole, have ran black men out of the home. When black men have tried to come back and take their rightful spot in the home to lead black women, you guys have, as a collective, you guys have said no. You do not want that. You would rather the black community be a matriarch. Period. That's
Gabe,
that's
where you
one.
get your stats from, bro?
Two. Hold on, let me finish. She said she just wanted this. She said she
I want to finish. I want to hear all of this.
Oh,
Let
all
me
right.
finish, too, and then we can.
two.
I want to hear.
Go.
Having not allowing our children to be born into two-parent households is part of the reason our community is in shambles now. I'm all for family. And listen, I know we grown and we do our thing. You know, I'm not saying that. But as a whole, single parent homes and
taking
single
notes.
motherhood has affected the black community in a major way. Okay.
I'm listening. Go ahead. What's 3?
Is that it?
You ain't got 3?
That's it?
You what the 3rd, 4th, or 5th?
Did he hear himself?
Where is it? Hello? You got any more?
Where'd you go?
Y'all done being facetious.
You've been doing it all day. Someone do what you do. I can play this
Daddy,
game.
because it's so much. I'm not being facetious.
I need to know.
I'm writing these notes down. I'm writing them down because I want to know.
Where is it? I'm listening. So we ran you out the home and
We didn't allow.
and we want to be in a single
You
parent
don't
home.
allow.
Yes.
I honestly
Forget
believe,
that.
that
I'm
black
glad.
women do not value male leadership.
Okay.
Thank you, baby.
I really do.
Thank you.
You value it after you have all these damn kids. Now, let me say that, y'all. Now, after y'all have all these kids, there's the men that come take over. You niggas ain't worth a damn.
I don't know.
Now, after y'all have all them goddamn kids, y'all want somebody to come in and clean up the mess.
Hours of Maury Povich have you watched?
But
Dude,
wait,
I just-
wait, but hold
Wait a
on,
minute,
wait,
All kinds of steps to
Gabe,
back up what I just said.
Gabe,
I
you
just backed
do
up all
you
kinds of
do
steps
know,
It's like
I
a
just did.
masterclass.
but brother, you do know that black women are out here. They're not asexual, right? They can't just go and produce babies on their
I-
own.
and I'm
Your
not
parents
saying-
doesn't-
I really
hey,
tried.
hey, listen. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm not saying, but the men that they're having the babies by is the problem.
Gabe, real quick. I'm cutting you off because you say this all the time. Where did you get that stat from that for some reason you believe black men are not single fathers out here, but black women are? Like, where did that come from? I need to read that for myself so I can probably understand.
I'm blocked off Facebook right now. I can't access my messenger, but when I do,
when you might need to, if you can't pull that up, you might want to stop repeating it because it sounds very insane.
So you don't think most black men are single fathers? You don't think most black men are single fathers? You don't believe that?
You don't believe what?
You don't believe that most black men are not single fathers? You don't believe that?
Gabe, if you have a baby by somebody and you're not together, technically that person is a single father. Like I don't know what you're saying, but if women are having babies, the babies that they're having these men by, like that man is a single father and that woman is a single mother.
They're having them by men. They're having them by low value men.
I don't know why.
No,
still the male species.
Where are you getting these stats that these men are low value? Like,
and he doesn't know.
He can't pull them up. They're from his Facebook.
Everybody when I can access my messenger.
But real quick, basically, bro, you just sat here for an hour and 14 minutes and just said black women ain't shit. They make dumbass decisions. They're horrible in leadership. They lack accountability, and we might as well just place them in a box and say, "Fuck y'all, see you later."
I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. But thank you, Frank.
That's essentially what you just said.
I appreciate y'all.
Now, Frank can get on here and say the exact same thing I said, and y'all will co-sign him. But
real quick, because so Gay, so Frank from Views from a Man Cave, he said gay numbers are true because majority of single moms are having kids with all of men. And again, I'm gonna ask you the same question, Frank. Where are y'all getting these stats from that for whatever reason you feel like black women are only having sex with the same man?
See, what's
and
so
that black
funny?
Men can't be.
When I start talking,
it's not funny. I don't know. When I start talking like this,
it's kind of rhetoric. It's so limited in our community, like actually holding sisters accountable. It comes off as woman hate. It's kind of funny to me because, like I said, I've been doing it for a long time. And like I said, when I bring up numbers, like I just read those numbers and Ely said, "Fuck your numbers, just give me a list." And I done sat here and read an article about backing me up about everything I just said, and to black folks it's still, and we wonder why we at the bottom of the damn totem pole in this country.
No, we at the bottom of the pole. We stay at the bottom.
We stay at the bottom because of people like you who continue to push this rhetoric that it's only the black woman's fault, and we're not pushing
the rhetoric that it's only the black woman's fault.
Not bringing us both together to figure out how to solve these problems. You're just feeling that, if we vote Republican, it's gonna be all good.
I'm really tired.
I'm done.
Yeah, boy. You way done. You done.
I cooked today. I know.
No, baby, you did not. You just showed the rest of like everybody else's followers about how you think. You didn't cook nothing today because we still raw. And matter of fact, if I see you on the street, because I feel like you said that I married a bum, if I see you on the street, you ain't gonna get this good old red couch chick who thinks about
if you want to take it that way,
like I swear for God, that whole red chick that you
ma'am, if you want to take it that way, that's your problem, not mine, dear.
No, it's not my problem. It's what you said, Gabe.
It's not mine, dear.
What you said, and my husband is sitting here listening to you about all this horrible rhetoric.
That's not my problem. That's yours.
That is your problem.
I didn't say your husband was a bum. I didn't say your husband.
You said black women marry bums.
I mean, Frank, y'all have babies by a small pool of men, and the men that y'all have babies by are bums. They're losers.
Who is y'all? I ain't got no.
And again, like I said, gay.
I don't know what does that mean.
I don't even understand what you're saying, and I don't know where y'all get from.
Lots of men call us whores, so I'm confused. Like we, and then let me ask you a question. Let me ask a serious question. If black men, if the roles were reversed, and black men were doing better, were more successful, and we were in jail, we were on drugs, we were just having kids and leaving them in the front of churches. What would you all do? Like, what like, would you all do for us what we're doing for you? Based upon the kinds of conversations that you all have about what you see and how you see us, would you uplift us when we were down? Would you do that for us? Because and you don't have to answer right away. Like, think about it, because I would really be curious to know if the roles were reversed and things were different, if you would bring us along too. Because from the sounds of you personally, from the rhetoric that I know and the folks that I know that you've read and listened to, it doesn't really sound like there's much room if the roles are reversed, because there's not much room for us in the world that you all want to create.
Mm-hmm.
So Frank says, with all due respect, these stats and trends can be found everywhere. It's not hard to look up. But the thing is, I didn't find it. It's not The thing is, I didn't find it. This is the thing. When you go about spewing whatever you want to call as your stats, it shouldn't. You're right, because it shouldn't be hard to look up. It shouldn't be hard to say your source. So if you're saying this is what you're basing your belief off of, recite your source. That should be simple. I didn't say these stats, so why do I have to know? You said it. So that's why y'all sound like Donald Trump. Y'all sound like
I'm
gonna
do the full. You know what?
To say, I seriously have never wants to back it up, and then when you fact check them, it calls it fake news. So y'all don't want to back up saying you're trying to again paint this image of women like we are the downfall of Black race, and then say we don't hold accountability when you want to hold Black men accountable. And you hate the fact when we try to say it's a joint thing. When we try to say it's both of us that need to come together, you hate that. Like, what the hell? What is wrong with you? That's what boggles my mind.
My issue with stats when it comes to Black people. Stats when it comes to us Black people, anyone with color, who's taking the stat? Where are you going for these stats? And how are you reporting these stats?
Yeah.
Because that's my issue. I'm not saying the numbers are not out there published somewhere. I'm not saying that. I've taken stats. We've all taken stats. We know how it can be. But my issue is this. Who's taking the stat? Where are you going for these stats? If you're only staying in one section to take these stats, you're going to get the numbers you're getting because when it's biased. When you say these things, and yet we are sitting here telling you we see things different. We know we're business owners. We're married. We have children. We're successful. So where are these stats coming from? My issue is this: when you put these things out here in our community that did not come from any one of us making the stats in the first place, it makes a divide that we're seeing right now on this panel.
And what Frank just said is just really what I'm just going to end on, because I'm not going to keep going in circles with folks that don't want to listen. He says this is a hard convo to have because sisters tend to get upset or deflect. The reality is Black women have to vet better as a whole. Boom. And I'm going to leave it at that. Ain't nothing else need to be said.
This is the thing. You know what? You are going to leave it at that because you can't speak on what you are. So how are you going to say you don't want to go in circles? People don't want to listen when you haven't listened to anything we've said at all this entire time, whether it was coming from us ladies or the fellas. You have not listened or heard or received a single thing that was said. You have deflected the entire show. You have taken away. You have ignored. You have been sarcastic. You have gay. I got to go. Because I got to start my birthday weekend. And you're not supposed to get in my psyche right now because you know I want to say stuff to you.
I know you do.
That I can't really do.
I know.
So
the goddamn blood pressure has risen on this episode.
So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I know this conversation did not get to finish, but like I said, I gotta preserve my peace right now. And I gotta do some self-care. So I hope in our future conversations you continue to be open to actual dialogue and understanding that is receiving as well as giving. If I'll ask you for
so you can't get blood from the turnip.
And I've been asking for that. I asked you for that for a long time. I said just so I can look it up and see it for myself. And I asked you that because I tried looking it up and I didn't see what you were talking about.
I promise I am. I swear to God.
If I ask you for that and you can't do just that simple thing, that's a problem to me. Like you shouldn't be stating these facts anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have an issue with bringing it up, we're backing it up, you should be stating it. That's all I'm saying.
I got you.
And whatever I say, if I say it, and when I get it, they want to see where I got it from. I'm gonna give you that story.
Honey, I think to prove your point, can find whatever facts or whatever article or whatever you can find, whatever you want to find, just to prove a
All
point.
I want to say is when I find it, Donnie, and I send it to you, give me my flowers. That's all I want. Give me my flowers and pin them to me. That's all I ask. Because you gonna get them. Just give me.
Send it to me. We'll talk about it.
I just want to point out, good brother Gabe, nobody is stating that your documentation, your facts may or may not be accurate. What we're simply stating, and I think everybody can agree, is that the problem doesn't solely fall on the women in our community. It falls on us collectively. And if we don't get on the same page, we will continue to be talking in circles, getting nowhere.
Okay, I hear you, Scoop.
All right. Well, like I said, do anybody, ladies, I really enjoyed y'all. Y'all gave a lot of nice gems. Most of us, I think, received them. But is there any closing statements y'all want to have? And can you also tell people where to find you and your pages?
I'll let the ladies
Ms.
go
Rashida,
first.
I'm a good.
Okay. It's Rashida Green. You can follow me, allroadscross.com. I'm on Facebook and Twitter as Crossroads Pod C1, and on Instagram, Crossroads Podcast. My show is about environmental justice and those who fight the fight. Oh, final words.
And what about
go have a beer and chill.
I thought you were Frank, you're more than welcome on. I was actually going to ask you because I feel like your boy needs backup. But go ahead, Ms. Janae.
I am Janae from Confessions from a Red Couch podcast, where we focus on improving the relationship with yourself so you don't take your trash to others, because no one wants your unresolved issues. I'm on a break right now, but the show drops every Wednesday. And so I'm excited to get back. My closing statements is exactly what my show is about. When you don't deal with trauma, you tend to deflect it on other people, and it hurts everyone around you. And so right now, not only it's a bunch of hurt people in the world, and it's a bunch of hurt people in the Black community. And if we don't deal with our own traumas and our own issues, then we can never come together to get together to build. And that's why other communities are laughing at us and joking at us and saying they could throw us any little bit of a bone, because they see the infighting that's going along with us. So instead of continuing to place the blame on the women, the men, the children, the patriot, whoever, we just need to shut up, get together, and figure out how to build. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Definitely agree. Hey, Miss E.
Hey, I am Erlene, aka Elise Main, from the Shall You Proceed podcast. You can find me on all major platforms: Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the same name, Shall You Proceed podcast. And my show is about relationships, society and culture, health and wellness. And I have built my brand and platform on creating a safe space to have regular conversations with regular people about what's really important to us at all times. Everyone has a voice when they come on my show, but I do, if I have to monitor that voice, I shall. What I will say is this, and it'll piggyback on what Rashida and Janae said and what everyone has said. You know, we as a people have to realize what our agenda really is and who their enemy really happens to be, and it's not each other. And there's a lot of forces that we have that has been implanted in our community that we did not bring here or put here. It's not who we are naturally. And we continue to birth it into the next generation and the next and the next. And what has to happen right now is figure out what we need to do as a collective, put those old arguments aside, and move forward as one from the ground up. I'm not going to continue, I never have, and Janae knows this, blame men or women, Black or white, for any, well, the white, the clear, that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm not going to blame my brother or my sister for where I am or where they are, because what I do is I uplift and bring along. So no matter where you are right now in your life or where you have been in your frame of reference, that doesn't matter to me. You look like me, so I'm gonna bring you along. I'm going to school you and bring you along with me. So I'm not going to down you for your choices. I'm not going to down you for the things that you've done and the decision that you've made, man or woman. But I'm going to bring you along and take you where I'm going. because just downing you and blaming you and not helping you is not helping anything. And we look like fools out here in these streets, but keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
And real quick, if everyone could just go ahead and drop your links to your pages, whether it's your YouTube or your Instagram, wherever you want people to find you. If you could just drop that in the comments real quick, that'd be greatly appreciated. Gabe, I'm gonna let you go because I don't want to end with you.
Sorry, that was loud.
Go ahead, Gabe, real quick.
Of course, you don't want to end with me because I'm the GOAT, you know. But everyone, my name Rashida. I saw your little eye roll. It's all good, man. I know I cooked you good, and you having a hard time. I know that accountability is just rubbing you the wrong way. But let me just give my closing. Let me give my closing statements.
Please, sir, get to your thing.
Let me give my closing statements. She over there rolling her eyes, gonna get stuck. She rolled her eyes so hard. My name is Gabe. I am one half of the Ultimate Black Man Radio podcast. My other co-host is Frank. Of course, he has his own platform over there at View from the Man Cave. I mostly deal with relationships in regards to black men and black women. I give the game like no one else does. I'm very big on accountability. You guys can find me on YouTube, Ultimate Black Man Radio. You can find me on Instagram, Ultimate Black Man, and Facebook, Ultimate Black Man, Twitter, Ultimate Black Man. I'll leave it at this. Listen, black folks do need to come together, but we have to address the issues that are plaguing the community on the inside. This is what the Jews did back in World War II. After World War II ended, they found the coons and the traitors and got rid of all the traitors within the community first before they began to build. Black folks need to do the same thing. We need to get rid of our Sambos, our coons, our traitors, so we can move forward as a collective. I am very big on accountability for black men and black women. I know the way I talk is new to a lot of black women because you haven't been accountable for the last 50 years, but that's why I am here. So I go live usually every Sunday and every Wednesday. You guys can no, I did not, Rashida. I did not. You can find me every Sunday and every Wednesday. And yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Gabe. All right. Good.
She just so silly. I'm gonna cook you. I'm gonna get you, Rashida. You gonna get this work. You gonna get this work.
Like you think I'm just a regular thug. Rashida that's her business. Don't do that. Don't do that. And her fight language is just like mine. Her love language is just like mine. It's fighting. Don't do that. Don't do that.
She can get this work. She can get this work. I'm not afraid of no smoke.
Ain't no work to give.
Sure.
I was born in the smoke.
They're too short.
Go ahead.
Molded by it.
I can go.
Go ahead, Scoob.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Well, I am Scoob Rose from Unapologetically Dope, the podcast, your sophisticated source of ratchet entertainment, necessary conversations for the black culture. And I'm going to strongly disagree with the good brother Gabe just said. We don't need to eliminate. We need to educate, teach, support, and unite. UDP, baby. Whole vibe.
Okay. Go ahead.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for being on the show. And we all are to blame, so we all need to hold ourselves accountable, and we all need to come together, communicate, and to come up with a solution to better ourselves and move forward. That's the only way things are gonna work out. That's all that. That's it.
All right. Like I said, thank y'all for participating. At the end of the day, I'm all for accountability. I just made a video about accountability, but you can't take accountability if you are so busy pointing at somebody else. That's not holding any kind of accountability. So you might want to look up that word. You might want to actually understand and digest and take it in.
Accountability.
That you start with self first. Stop opening yourself. So, until the next time, my people, like I said, it's always a pleasure talking with y'all, even when I don't agree with y'all. Some of you. But next time, y'all have a good one. Take care. And what's
drop your diamonds.
Bye. All right. Okay. Let me see.
Yeah.
End
I
broadcast.
tried to end it. I don't know if I ended it.
Yeah, we
end
still
it, end it.
live.
We still live. End it.
End it.
I keep saying end it. It won't end.